My name is Vlad.
Absolutely.
Here is Hesham. Hesham is a founder of Elys Network, which is right now partial set security in Cosmos Hub. Hesham, thank you very much for joining our small community. As you know, like each week we distribute some NFTs. Among these NFTs, Elys Horde and Elys Legends as well. So today I want to speak with you about who you are, why you're in Cosmos. Is it difficult to be a founder of Elys project? And so on, some stupid and possible smart questions. We will see. So, want to ask you, Hesham, could you please introduce yourself, who you are, why you're in Cosmos, why Elys, why we are still in Cosmos Hub, not as a layer one blockchain, like possible some alpha to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of Bro and Bro. I think you do amazing things for the community. Everything that you do for like education, for providing infrastructure, relayers, everything that you do, your presence on X is super important in terms of building the trust, transparency, and getting more people excited about the Cosmos ecosystem. So I really appreciate everything you do for all of the chains that you serve. And it's one of the reasons why I'm excited to partner with you and to be a friend of yours and to be someone who supports Bro and Bro.
Thank you very much.
So a little bit about me. I was an early DeFi user in Cosmos. I initially really, really loved, the experience. I loved the idea of the internet of blockchains and having these different, places where I could essentially interact with a chain where it was sovereign, but then I could move the assets via IBC. So IBC is really what got me excited about kind of the whole construct of Cosmos ecosystem.
Sure.
But as an early DeFi user, there was a lot of problems. The volatility within liquidity pools made it very difficult to be a liquidity provider. And then the fact that we didn't have like native USDC back then, and we had to pair with like the DEX token, there was always extra risk in terms of bringing your token in. So I always had a hard time with that. So what I had, I had the pleasure of being connected with several other people in the space who shared the same concerns. And so we wanted to build an experience that was much more sustainable. And it was made possible by the inclusion of native USDC through Noble Chain. So that's how we kind of came together to create the design for Elys Network. And then our goal was really to just take DeFi to the next level, to make it very easy to use and then make it sustainable so that we wouldn't use inflation or like bad tokenomics to incentivize people. Instead, we would actually use the revenues that are created from the platform to give back to the users who are participating. So with Elys, we also discovered that as a DEX, there needs to be more activity on a DEX than just swapping. Because if you look at, for example, like the typical DEX that you see, a swap fee is between 0.1 and 0.2%. And the way that a DEX is constructed, they use automated market maker logic, typically the same style that Uniswap created or even Thorchain, which is a balancer mechanism, which always resells the pool back to 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem with that design is that there is the risk of impermanent loss for a liquidity provider. So if you are providing liquidity in a certain pool, let's say it's Atom, Osmo, or something like that, every time that somebody makes a swap in that pool, there is a selling of tokens automatically via the balancer system that brings it back to 50-50, which actually changes the price of the tokens inside that pool. And then it relies on an arbitrage trader to come in and rebalance the price to market price.
Yes, you're right.
So with our design, we wanted to make sure that somebody could provide liquidity without being subjected to this massive impermanent loss risk. So we wanted to come up with a way that kind of more closely reflected to how a centralized exchange would typically make money. So centralized exchanges don't use pools, of course, right? They typically either use an order book or they really just synthetically sell tokens on their platform, where a user just simply pays whatever the market price is plus the fees and the spread. So there's no risk of impermanent loss for a centralized exchange provider because they don't really have this pool flaw. So we wanted to really more closely reflect that type of design. And that's how we built the Elys Smart Shielded pool. So you can actually see that the pool does not stay connected to 50-50. Instead, it actually stays tied to market pricing via the Oracle. So a price feeder coming from market prices and liquidity. And then I will continue to just go quickly through a demonstration of the app. Okay. So one of the things that we also wanted to do for somebody who may not have access to their wallet when they're like on their phone or when they're on the go is we wanted to give them the option to be able to connect the wallet through a social account. So this is why we have Google or X or Apple ID, these various options to be able to connect. You still have these options. So Kepler, Leap, MetaMask, and of course Ledger, Cosmos Station. We have not integrated yet. Leap, we do have integrated. Actually, we do have all of these integrated. I just don't have them installed on this particular machine. But for this demonstration, I will just use my Google account.
And
this
why?
is a demonstration wallet.
Why you implement such feature as using social public accounts, let's say? To compromise Google, you need less time, or like you can just make one mistake, like your password will be somewhere, and that's all.
That's true.
12 words or 4 words are like much more safer.
That's true. So the reason we do this is for somebody who's maybe brand new to crypto or wants to have a trading wallet. So the most effective or practical way to do this would be, let's say you want to just trade with like $50 or $25 or $100, whatever you want to do very quickly. You could do this very quickly from your phone. So you could be on an airplane. You could be anywhere in public. You could do this trade, and then once you finished your trade, you could and you wanted to take your profits or whatever, you could then send the funds or the assets over to your more properly, like your Ledger wallet or something that's like more traditional wallet, so that it's not exposed to a social account. And you'd be able to do that here with the send within Elys function, so the transfer button. So if I had some Atom I wanted to send, I would simply put in the address, the Elys address of my Ledger wallet. I'd put it in here, and then I'd be able to send it there. So this is designed to be like an on-the-go trading wallet. It's probably not the wallet you want to keep all your funds on. So again, it's for starters. It's for people who want to be mobile, but at the same time, where they don't have to keep moving their seed phrase, right? That's a really important one. They don't have to keep moving seed phrase from their desktop to their laptop or to their phone. This just gives them an option to move to be able to have a kind of a quick access wallet. So that's the reason we did that. And then for the dashboard display, we just wanted it to be very simple and easy to understand. So we give you your total balances. We have a tier membership program based on the amount of tokens or the value of the tokens you have on the chain. They don't actually have to be, that's if they are staked or in the vault or in liquidity provision. And then here's your rewards. So everything that you do on Elys Network, if you're a liquidity provider, a vault lender, or a staker, will earn you USDC, Eden, which is our reward token, which we'll talk about, and an Eden Boost, which is a multiplier. And then if other partners decide to provide liquidity or add assets, they would appear here in the external assets, which we could turn on. So it's very simple. I would hit claim rewards, and I would be able to take all of these and claim them all at the same time. Or if I wanted to, I could individually claim rewards for each specific thing that I wanted to. So I could do it, for example, in my, if I'm providing liquidity, I could go over to one of these liquidity positions and I could manage and I could claim that specific reward that I've earned from providing liquidity in Babylon, for example. So we now I'll just quickly jump to the swap page. So you can see here, we have various different ways to swap. This standard way to swap would just be a market order, where it just places the order at current market price. You can also select limit, sell, buy, and stop loss. And then one of the things that I want to demonstrate with the way our liquidity pools work is, for example, why don't I go ahead and actually just, I'll put some, put about 50 USDC here. So I'm just going to withdraw some USDC from the vault so I can demonstrate the swap. Is let's say I have 50 USDC roughly in here in this account, so it's updated here. And I want to swap 50 USDC for Atom. So you can see here when I select the expand details with this arrow here, I get a pool balance reward. So the way the pool balance reward works is this is how we differ from a standard automated market maker pool like Uniswap or Osmosis, is that we actually reward you in the token that you're swapping in based on rebalancing the pool.
Cool, by the way. I didn't notice it.
So you'll actually see the amount is displayed right here, and then that feeds into the expected amount down here. Now I want to explain how that works at all.
And now we will do this the same on skip go. Okay. So 50.
Yeah, so 50 to 12.91. So 12.191. And okay, so you get a slightly better deal on Skip Go. And so as we get 12.194 and 12.191. So as you get to a much deeper pool situation, or where your pool balance reward is higher, you'll start to see that we give a better deal than Skip.go. So we'll eventually be integrated at Skip.go. And when that happens, okay, so 12203, let's see here. Let me update that. Okay, so you can see it fluctuates based on arbitrage trading. So right now we have a better swap rate. So now we're 12.2, and now it's 12.19. So this is what we want to give users the opportunity, is to once we get integrated in Skip.go, we will actually appear as the better swap very often. Not always, but this is what we want to give users more choice. So I'll demonstrate why you receive this pool balance reward.
Yeah.
So when I go to liquidity mining section and I go to Atom USDC, you can see our pool ratio is 61% to 39%. 61% Atom, 39% USDC. So we incentivize somebody to balance this pool closer to 50-50, which is why we want you to purchase Atom and deposit USDC with that swap, right? So the USDC would be swapped for Atom, bringing this further and further to balance. And the more important thing is there's very minimal impact in terms of impermanent loss, because the user pays the slippage to the liquidity provider.
And what will happen if this pool will be 50-50, as Elys USDC, for example?
Then the pool balance reward will go to zero, and it's a perfectly efficient pool.
Okay.
Yeah, perfectly efficient pool. Yeah, which is good. That's what we want. Yeah. We want the pools to always be efficient. And at any time they move off of 50-50, we want somebody to balance it. The difference is when you do this in Osmosis or you do it in Uniswap, the price changes. When we do the price changes, but it goes back to 50-50. When you do it on Elys, the price stays the same, but the balance changes. So the slippage is paid by the trader, which is how this is sustainable, rather than being eroded from the pool, which is the liquidity provider's loss, right? The impermanent loss. So that's why our pool design is very sustainable, very efficient. So where you see where these pools are out of balance, you'll see that the pool balance reward, PBR, is displayed in this column, and it'll tell you which way it wants you to trade or swap into the pool to earn a benefit. So in this case, if you were to bring wrapped Bitcoin into here, you would earn a benefit of 0.07%. Over here, Pax Gold, right? It's very out of balance because everybody's been buying the gold out of our pool. It's very popular right now. So the pool balance reward is higher, 0.27%, if you bring Pax Gold in. So the way that you'd have to do that is you'd have to go to Skip Go and then get or actually go go.cosmos.network, and then use IBC Eureka to bring Pax Gold in, and then you'd be able to swap it for USDC. So again, I just wanted to demonstrate how this mechanism works. It's very popular. People are very happy with it. And then you can see here, leverage LP. This shows the actual percentage that's being borrowed. So share of the pool allocated to leverage LP. So 18% of the Bitcoin USDC pool is actually being borrowed for leverage LP. Same with Atom USDC, 34%, and so on, 25% of Ethereum.
So I want to ask you, you have, for example, Telegram translates not a very good image, unfortunately, like sharing of your screen. So when you said about like borrowing, like you show me some percentage, I just want to clarify, like it was regarding Bitcoin or whatever. Doesn't matter. It's the last column, right?
Yeah, sorry. So in the liquidity mining.
Yeah, let's go back. Just interesting. Okay. So, for example, you are showing numbers like 15%, yes?
So, like Bitcoin says 18%.
18%
for leverage LP. Yeah. That is the share of the pool allocated to leverage LP. That's how much is currently being exposed to borrow. So somebody, the people who have an open leverage LP position represents 18% of the pool.
Yeah, and as I know, people should be rewarded who lend BTC, and like people who borrow it should pay for borrowing, right? And like this 18%, it's like you have falls. Yeah, I see it. And for example, if I add I don't know $100 to this pool, I will have a share of all revenue. I mean,
If you are, if you want to be a lender for leverage LP, you would actually go to the vaults. So you go to earn vaults. It says here deposit and lend your assets to earn. So here is where you. So if you're a liquidity provider, which is the previous screen we were just at under liquidity mining, adding liquidity here, you will earn the percentage of swap fees, and that's going to give you essentially 60%. So the swap fees that are earned, you're going to keep 60%. And then the of the rewards generated by the protocol. So you earn the highest share of rewards, but in the in the vaults section, you become the actual lender for leverage LP. So if you want to lend into that Bitcoin pool, you would do it here. So you deposit Bitcoin in the pool. And you can see I've actually deposited a small amount the other day. So I would have
it's fine.
Yeah. So here I'm participating in the USDC vault. So I'm lending USDC. I'm lending Atom. The hottest pools, which are basically the ones that are growing the fastest and have the most activity, will be displayed at the top with a hot icon. And then you can actually view the interest rate if you're borrowing for leverage LP. This is the interest that you pay in this upper right-hand corner. The amount borrowed for the vaults is displayed here. As the amount borrowed from the vaults increases, the interest rate increases. This is why you see the Ethereum vault, which we just opened today, and we've already had 100,000 on the first day, which is very good. 35% of the pool is already being borrowed for leverage LP, which is causing the interest rate for the borrow to go up, which is very good for the lender. Now the lender who has deposited Ethereum in this pool is making more money on interest. So we do this to protect the lender. So as more and more money gets borrowed out of that pool, the capacity is limited to 80%. You can't borrow more than 80% of the pool. Once you approach that limit, the interest rate becomes very, very high. And that's, again, to discourage people from borrowing too much out of that pool once it becomes a high capacity borrowed.
And people reward it in Elys or like in Ethereum or USDC Atom?
That's a great question. So when you click on the tooltip, you get the breakdown. So in this situation here, you see the 45% Eden that we bootstrap. That's a bootstrapping reward. So we incentivized through our own token there. But that 7% Ethereum that you see is what the user is actually paying back to you in their collateral, because they're providing collateral to take this borrow. And so you're actually taking their Ethereum directly from them, and you're earning 7% right now. This number fluctuates daily based on the open borrows. So the cool thing about the Ethereum number is that actually Ethereum goes right back into your vault position. So if you have Ethereum in this vault, you are earning more and more ETH inside your vault position. It just keeps getting added, like almost like auto compound. Versus the USDC and Eden are actually going to go in the claim rewards section. So you'll be able to claim those every day. But the ETH just goes back into your vault.
Like it's totally the same for Atom and USDC as well, right? I mean,
Yes,
Atom will be after compounded and I will get exactly these numbers. I mean, if I add like $100 to this pool, like to this vault, I will have like 52, like if we speak about Ethereum, 52% of APR. Like I understand that it will be like some in Ethereum, some in USDC, and some in Atom. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
So we display this number annually, annual percentage rate. So obviously it just depends on activity. I would imagine as this pool grows, so it becomes like, let's say 500,000 or a million, you should expect that this percentage of Ethereum should go down, because the borrow capacity will probably go down. Or sorry, the borrow percentage capacity borrowed of the total pool will go down. So your percentage will probably drop, right? It's just a function of how much is being borrowed right now. So we only have a few people in this pool right now, which is why they're earning so much based on 35% of this pool is borrowed.
Hesham, question. When I'm borrowing something, like for example, I want one ETH, should I provide some liquidity? So for example, do you have liquidations?
Yeah, so you'll provide some collateral when you are taking leverage LP. Unfortunately, I cannot demonstrate a leverage LP position to you because I live in the United States, so I cannot do it. But you guys can. So when you go onto the leverage LP page, you should be able to see the borrow, the collateral that you'll put up, the interest rate you'll pay. So it'll all be displayed to you, and then you can actually show where the liquidation occurs, and then you can actually show where you would like to actually do a stop loss. So you'll have a take profit and a stop loss. Again, I wish I could demonstrate this to you, but I can't. have a lot of so we strictly prohibit the use of VPNs for obviously for regulatory reasons, and I speak with regulators. So anyway, the point here is that yes, you will have all that information displayed to you. If you want to provide liquidity to be, so to speak, a lender, it may actually make more sense for you to be a vault provider, and then you borrow against yourself, right? So if you actually deposit into the Ethereum pool and then you borrow from it, you're actually paying yourself back in interest. So it's one interesting way to do it. But it's sort of a hedge, right? So some people are doing that. You can also provide liquidity just in general if you just feel like the volumes from trading of swapping are going to go up. So it depends on your particular kind of thesis. If you are long term, like happy about the volumes, the direction the volumes are going, then being a liquidity provider makes a lot of sense, right? You're just in there and you're just collecting a portion of the fees that are being traded over time with no time risk, versus time risk of your actual principal that you're putting in. You're only just exposed to the actual price of the tokens. Versus if you are in a leverage LP position, your risk is the open interest that you're paying. So now you need a short-term horizon, right? You're trying to essentially get a short-term boost in trading volume that will make your leverage LP position valuable, because you can leverage up to 3 times. And we eventually will plan to leverage up to 5 times. But that is where your fees become very expensive. If you keep a leverage LP position open for a long time, you have to overcome this very expensive interest rate here. So the base rate is 12%, but you can see here it's 20% for the borrowers here because of the amount of capacity borrowed.
Okay, so we are fine here. I believe we learn a little bit about Elys, earn, staking. Okay, you didn't show it, but I hope all our community members know how to do this, because they had a drop of Elys. Oh yeah, by the way, so we are staking Elys, okay, but instead of Elys in rewards, we are getting Eden, right? And possible Eden boost. So
yes.
why you do this? To make a gain, Elys, liquid Elys, you need wait for 90 days, to convert Eden to Elys, right? Why?
So there are a couple of reasons why we have the staking reward as Eden. So there will only ever be a maximum of 50 million Eden minted. However, we've already actually taken that down to about 42 million, right? So we've lost about 8 million Eden so far because of unclaimed rewards. And the reason we do that is we have a cap of daily emissions of Eden in our tokenomics. So if we don't have enough activity on the chain, that Eden simply never gets minted and it never goes into circulation and it never becomes Elys. So we have 150 million Elys in our total supply currently in existence, 30 million in circulation, but the rest of it is going to be Eden that converts to Elys. That's the reason why we have this token, is that so that we can control the supply, so that we can actually deflate it. So that's the main reason, for a deflationary purpose, so we don't have to burn it later. Yeah.
From one hand, yes, it's a deflation. From other hand, market cap will be lower.
Yeah, I mean, when considering the project, it should always be based on fully diluted market cap. So our maximum was 200 million. It is now 192. Let me go to coin market cap. This is actually probably an old number, but I would say we're at, okay, so max supply 192.6. So that number is actually probably closer to 192.58 or 59. It's just going down slightly. They're not updating it as fast as we are.
Okay.
But so anyway, so that's just one part of the design. The second part of the design is when you claim your Elys. So I'll just claim your Eden. I did a claim this morning, but I'll just do another claim. When you claim your Eden, so I have $14 worth of Eden, 12.77 Eden boost. I'll hit claim rewards. Go ahead and claim everything now. Because I'm using a Google Wallet, it's walletless. So I don't have to approve it. I just confirm it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go back to the simple staking page. Let's see, it looks like it's updating there. So the Eden boost is my multiplier. So one of the reasons why we created an Eden token is so that we could give you a multiplier for restaking it. So every time that you essentially stay participating in Eden and restake it, we give you more of a multiplier. So for me, because I keep restaking my Eden, I earn an additional 5.68%. So when I stake and that applies to both Elys and Eden. So I'm actually receiving 55.68% staking instead of 50%. So that's one of the reasons we want to incentivize you to keep staking. So that's why we did it in Eden. You wouldn't be able to do this in Elys because it would always just stay 50%. So I'll go ahead and restake my Eden boost because I want to keep moving that number up. I want to change it to 6%, 7%, 8%. I want it to keep going up. And then with my Eden, let's say if I want to claim this, if I want to convert this to Elys, I would go over here to vest.
Yeah.
And then I would go ahead and vest it, right? So I could vest that amount of Eden if I wanted to. It dropped off. Let me figure out why. There it goes. Okay, so manage. I think we're in the middle of an update. I don't know if you guys saw. We were in the middle of a UI update. So if I want to vest my Eden, I would select it here. So I'll go ahead and vest this one, $14 worth of Eden. I'll vest 68. Otherwise, I would restake it, right? Normally, I just restake it. But when I do that, I can go over to redeem. And this is I did a demonstration the other day of vesting Eden. So this I did about maybe 2 weeks ago. So you can see I don't have to wait 90 days to get my Elys. I can actually just get it right now. What it's doing is it's actually giving me linearly 1-for-1. It converts to Elys every day for 90 days. So if I had 90 Eden, I would be able to claim 1 Eden for Elys per day for 90 days if I wanted to. So it's really up to you when you want to redeem it. You don't have to wait the full 90 days. And there's no penalty other than paying extra gas fees to redeem your Elys early. So I'll go ahead and redeem this Elys. So I'm going to redeem 44 Elys. Okay. And then how about I send this to somebody who wants it? Who wants 44 Elys? You want to pick somebody from the crowd? I'll just give it to them. I'll send it over.
May I ask you, like, you just signed transaction? Yeah, you said that, like, you did it from Google account, but who pays commission? Who pays for gas?
The gas fees automatically baked into the wallet. So we estimate the gas fee for you and we pay it. Or you will pay it out of your own wallet, but we pay it for you. We automate.
So you're paying, like Elys paying for me if I'm using the Google, really?
No, sorry. Let me clarify that. The user will pay it from their wallet. We just already put the gas fee directly into the transaction, so the user doesn't have to estimate it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And what was
it's very low? It's less than 1 cent. Yeah, so I just redeemed 44 Elys. So I want to give it to somebody in the audience. So
Hesham, I just want to tell you the thing. When the Elys just came up with the testnet, I tried that, right? And it was freaking boring. So I didn't continue it. And I thought, just I was so suspicious. Why do we need another freaking DEX? What are they doing? And then when you came up, it was a pause before I start using it. So I didn't use it since day one. I started using it after the month I say you were out. And I tried that. And that's freaking brilliant. I love this, right? And I'm a liquidity provider there. I'm providing USDC. And I love that and how it's working. And I have a few questions to you. Is my money safe there?
Thank you very much for that, Dr. Off. And it's really kind of you to say. I know we have a lot of people who said the same thing where, I just didn't really like it in testnet, but now that I see it actually working, it's actually giving me value and it's giving me an opportunity to like either arbitrage trade with osmosis or bring assets in from Ethereum or deposit into the vault and just enjoy the rewards. So this is my actual money, right? So what you're seeing here on this demonstration wallet, this is my personal funds. So if I'm willing to put this much money on a Google account, I'm taking the same risk, right? So I will say because we're so serious about the security side of things, we did 2 audits, right? So we did Halborn for our first audit, and then the second audit we did was with Hacken, and we trust both of them as partners in the space as very, very strong audit partners. I think that one of the things that we recognize is our entire success as a platform hinges upon like being able to protect against any kind of like malicious activity or somebody being able to hack the chain, etc., or hack the pools. So we take that very, very seriously. So I can tell you, like, I'm not just somebody who's telling you to trust the system or like to just believe us. I want you to also do the due diligence, read the the audit report from Halborn. It is public. You can go grab it on the Halborn website. And then just know that I'm right there with you. I'm providing liquidity. I'm in the vaults. I'm doing all this stuff with my money. And so if it goes to zero, I've lost all my money too. so this is very important to me. I will also say that we don't use CosmWasm for this. I think that's one of the big threats right now is that most of the DeFi functions you'll see on some of these other platforms are using CosmWasm, which there have been some concerns about the security aspect of CosmWasm for this type of function. It's a great, smart contracts with CosmWasm are generally good for other functions. But we did not, when we were actually building Elys Network, we decided to remove the pool functionality or any of the borrow functionality from CosmWasm because we were concerned about the risk. So we actually changed it to a much more like robust design that is not going to be subject to maybe the concerns of CosmWasm. We've enabled permissioned CosmWasm for other partners to be able to offer their products, but it's not risking the Elys liquidity pools. So I'll try to maybe go into more detail on anything specifically that you think is a concern. If you are a liquidity provider, you're protecting yourself with this design because of the impermanent loss not being something where the slippage goes to the arbitrage trader. That's typically how they make their money, is they go and grab that slippage and it goes to them. Instead, we return the slippage back to you as a liquidity provider in your rewards, which is why I'll just demonstrate here. For example, here, this price impact from Celestia, that 0.95%, normally would go to an arbitrage trader on Osmosis or something. We actually give it back to the liquidity provider. Same thing with here's a cash, 3.93%, that goes back to the liquidity provider. That's how we want to protect people who are providing liquidity, is that these go back to you, not the trader. The trader is incentivized to deposit, right, to make a swap in the correct direction, and that will help them, which ultimately helps you as a liquidity provider to bring that liquidity pool back to 50-50, which drives more volume. So that's the flywheel. That's the kind of the theory behind how we try to protect the actual activity. And then going to the vaults, if you're providing USDC or providing Atom in these vaults, your protection here is that the user not only has to provide collateral, but they're also paying a very high interest rate to borrow from you. And then we cap the capacity borrowed to 80%. So we're always trying to make sure that the lender has a level of protection. The big thing here is the leverage that they can take out is only 3x. They can only go up to 3x leverage. If we were ever going to raise it, we'd only raise it up to about 5x. We'll never go higher than that. Now, when we're talking about perpetual trading, which will be rolling out in the next couple of weeks, I believe we'll be able to go up to like maybe 25x, but that's a different story, right? So the borrowers for perpetual comes out of liquidity pools, and it's going to be very high interest. It's going to be very, very volatile for the borrower. So obviously very, very high risk for the borrower.
That was my next question.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing. I mean, this is very expensive stuff. It's very, very high risk. So leverage products are very high risk. Most people who engage in leverage lose money. The people who perpetual trade. I heard this statistic recently. I think it was from DYDX. That's like 85% of perpetual traders lose money, which is why DYDX keeps making money. so this is kind of the point, is like, we want you, if you want to express your risk as being the provider of those funds for somebody to borrow against you, you have a higher probability of you making money versus that borrower who's borrowing against you, right? Your probability, you're always in this environment, which is much more advanced than just standard like swaps, liquidity provision. This is where you get to express your risk or your risk tolerance, whether you want to be the lender or the borrower. So that's the difference, right? The borrower always has a higher threshold to overcome to be able to make money. The lender has an easier time to make money, higher probability, but they do have some risk. The last thing I'll say about that is because of the collateral that the user puts up, the only real major challenge for a user is if the borrower still has an open position, and a lot of people are removing their deposits from the vault. If your position is still locked up in a borrow, somebody's still borrowing your position, the only thing there is you may not be able to withdraw until that person closes their position, if we reach up against the limits of the capacity borrow. So that would be the one risk I would say I would probably highlight, is if you need your money liquid like right away, just know that if your capacity borrow of that vault is very, very high, you may have to wait for somebody to close their position, which is actually pretty quick. Most people close their positions fast. it's very, like I said, it's very expensive for somebody to keep their position open for a very long time. They start to pay too much interest. They'll eventually hit a stop loss or be liquidated.
I mean, if you're a lender, you're safe in this case, no problem.
If you're a lender and time is generally on your side, the longer the time somebody has a position open, the less likely they are to make money because of the interest rate so high. So the perfect example here is, somebody's paying 20% interest in this Ethereum for their leveraged liquidity. They have to see better than 20% gains. Essentially, you could take that down to a daily. So whatever the daily percentage is, they have to exceed that interest that they're paying. And it's very difficult to do, which is why most of these people are not making money on leverage LP. Now, some can if they're taking the appropriate risk, but these are meant to be opened and closed quickly. They're not meant to be open for a very long time. And most people who trade leverage understand, like, they put it on at certain times, remove it, so they manage their risk. Versus you as a lender, you can be lending entirely the whole time and not have to worry about having to open and close. With all that said, I can withdraw my USDC in the vault anytime I want, right? So I think we used to have a 1 hour lock, but I think we removed it. I think, bonding period, none. So, and the reason we do that is we don't want you to be locked. We want you to be able to move your funds anytime you want. The only risk there, like I said, is if the capacity bar becomes too high. Liquidity mining is a little bit different, right? So if you're going to add liquidity, you will be locked for 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that's a very short time, right? But the only reason we lock for 1 hour is we don't want somebody to use the liquidity provision as a tool to swap tokens, if that makes sense. So somebody who might want to arbitrage trade might actually use the liquidity provision side to actually try to create an arbitrage. And we don't want that, because then they would be circumventing the design of the pools. So we want to protect liquidity providers, which is why we do a 1 hour lock. It's not meant to keep you there. It's meant to prevent somebody from manipulating the pool. So 1 hour lock is strictly for that. It keeps the arbitrage traders away from messing with the pools, and then you're free to get out after 1 hour. So again, that's very different than, let's say, other DEXs that make you lock for 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, etc.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And I just want to point that, look at the percentage APR or whatever APY for the USDC Elys. It's 4 or 5%. It's a huge.
Yeah, it's very juicy. This is the only pool that we have that is not smart shielded. It's actually standard AMM. And the reason is we don't have, since we're on Gate and MEXC, we don't have a deep enough liquidity feed from the Oracle to be able to turn this into a smart shielded pool. But let's say our pools become like $2 million, $5 million, and then we have, we're on Binance or we're on Coinbase or something. Now we can actually reliably feed in the market price from those exchanges, and then we could actually move this. We could deprecate this pool and move it to a smart shielded pool, and then we could actually start using the smart shielded side. So that's one of the prerequisites for any token to be listed as a smart shielded pool. For example, like we were talking to Stargaze, because we really want to list Stargaze. Well, now we can't because they're turning into Atom. But we couldn't list Stargaze as a smart shielded pool because their liquidity data is so poor on centralized exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things. But we're very excited about ones like, for example, like Babylon. So I was doing a little bit of arbitrage on Babylon because I was buying it on Osmosis and selling it on Elys, and vice versa. I was buying it on Elys and selling it on Osmosis because I was able to get a small spread. So I was able to get a little bit of extra money every time I did that. And you can see a lot of people were doing it, which is why they brought it back in balance to almost 50-50. Mm-hmm. So it was a really exciting time to be a Babylon trader on Elys. I'm actually almost the majority liquidity provider for Babylon. So I was trading into my own pool. So I provide 11.6, right? So I provide about 75% of the liquidity on Babylon. And I want to keep adding it because I really like Babylon, for example.
Hesham, we have a question. You said that you are not using CosmWasm. What are you using? Like, you have some custom modules or what? Because I really think custom modules. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I just sent 45 Elys from the conversion of the Eden to Elys. I just sent it over to our lucky winner. Congratulations. Feel free to do whatever you want with it. Stake it, sell it, anything you want. So just wanted to kind of, since I was just demonstrating that one, I didn't want to keep it for myself. So so the custom modules that we built, again, we're open source code. We are licensed. So anybody who wants to use our code will need to pay a license fee. We're licensed for 3 years. And the reason we did that is because we know our design is really like very unique, and in fact, it's one of the ones that I think other DEXs will probably try to copy. They'll try to copy our smart shielded pool design. So we want to make sure we licensed it, because we are essentially the way that Uniswap changed the world. We're essentially changing the world, right? Our design is actually much better than Uniswap's, but Uniswap didn't know about this design when they built it, because they didn't have the technical expertise or the financial expertise that we do on our team. So our team, because you guys know the architect of our team worked at Credit Suisse and Mitsubishi Financial for 20 years. So he has a master's degree in financial engineering from Columbia University. So he has a huge amount of experience, not just trading and being the head of a trading desk at both of these firms, but also just from the academic side, understanding like how these markets work from the efficiency standpoint. And so if Uniswap had a person like him on their team, they probably could have built something like this. But instead, they really just built it from the coding side. They just really wanted to like create something that was like safe, but not really like financially efficient, because Uniswap pools are not efficient at all. Versus what we built is high efficiency. And I demonstrated to you earlier on Skip Go that our Atom pool, which only has what are we seeing, $581,000 in it, is better. It gives you a better trade than a pool that has $5 million worth of Atom in it. How's that possible, right? And we do that because we are protecting the liquidity providers and giving you the best pricing based off of the market, rather than the slippage that an arbitrage trader will enjoy by taking it out of the pools, essentially.
But we try to swap only $50, you know. If we will swap like 5,000, like
yes, so that's
it depends.
That's why the goal for us is to get to many millions of dollars in each pool, so that we can actually take this amazing technology that we have and this amazing design that we have, and now give people real efficiency. So I will say the average trade in Cosmos, we looked it up on the DeFi, kind of like looking at the stats, the average swap is about $100. So for most users who are doing that in DeFi, kind of like everyday swapping, we still can give them the best pricing. If we're talking about institutional level, typically people who are even Atom, who are buying more than, let's say, $10,000 to $50,000 of Atom, they're not buying it on Osmosis either. They're actually going to OTC desk. Right? So they're going to so they're going to somebody like a third party institution off chain. They're going to make the transaction, and then have it just done OTC, and they're just avoiding the liquidity pools entirely. We don't want that, right? We want the activity to exist on chain so that people can verify it, see it, and at the same time earn from it, benefit from it, be rewarded for being it, right? Let me see if I can demonstrate this from. I don't know what your preferred exchange is in the US. You know, a lot of people use Coinbase.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's considered. I don't know what would be the best one, kind of, that your community uses, like Binance or OKX or something. Bybit. Okay, Bybit's a very good one. Yeah, I like Bybit a lot. We tried to list on them. We were very close. They actually really liked us. But let me demonstrate a $1,000 person. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm trying this for the first time. Let's see how it happens. So I'm not gonna execute it because I'm keeping my USDC in the vault. But let's do ETH. Let's do, if I want to do $1,000, I want to purchase ETH. I'll look down here. Okay, so good. There's no worry about pool balance. The price impact is very low, 0.05%. I'm only going to pay 0.14% swap fee. And if you guys remember, we just recently did a governance proposal that passed. This taker's fee of 0.1% is actually being burned. So we purchase Elys and then we burn it. So it reduces our supply some more. But we're going to reduce this taker's fee down to 0.05% just because we want to be more competitive, more efficient, and we want to help users get a better swap. So we'll probably cut that in half. So let's compare it. So according to this, I can trade 1,000 USDC for $998 worth of ETH. So my slippage or price impact is going to be $1.40. There we go. Oh, now we're at 35 cents. I kind of want to make this trade. So now it's above 1,000. Okay, so you can see that this is a very healthy pool, right? This is a $1,000 trade.
Yeah.
Now, if I don't know if you can see this, but I'm sorry, because I don't have Coinbase on this laptop, so I just have to show you on the phone.
Yeah.
On Coinbase, it's and maybe I'll just take a screenshot. Let's take a screenshot. 0.548 Ethereum. And this is as a Coinbase One member, so I'm not supposed to pay any fees.
Yeah.
So let me put that in the.
This is better. But they're giving more like percentage for swapping, like 3 or like something like this. You're getting lower than why you have better prices, for sure.
We have better prices than Coinbase, and that says a lot, right? Because what we're demonstrating here is that this is the market we're going after. We're not going after like a Osmosis user. We're not going after a Uniswap user. We want the Coinbase user, because the Coinbase users and the Bybit users and the Binance users have there's way more funds on those exchanges, way more people with way more trading activity on those exchanges, and that's where we see the opportunity. So I know if you guys have heard me talk before, there's only about 10 million DeFi users, but you have 300 to 350 million centralized exchange users. I want those centralized exchange users. I want them coming to Elys, right? I want them to get a better experience and save money, because that's an expensive trade. If they are trading $1,000 worth of Ethereum to only get 0.548 when they can get 0.553, that's a very big difference. That's probably a $10 to $20 difference in slippage. Yeah. So that adds up over time. I mean, that's really valuable, right? So we want them to have a good experience, and at the same time have a self-custody wallet. We don't want them to be stuck with their funds on Bybit, and Bybit gets hacked, or Bybit goes bankrupt or whatever. We don't want any more of those types of problems like FTX had and Mt. Gox, etc.
For sure. Hesham, possible you can spread some words about your NFT collection, by the way, because like we are distributing collections, like Elys collections. Possible you can show us why we need to use them. No, like Stargaze on is okay, like where to buy them we know. But you already have other site where we can stake them and earn additional money.
Yeah, so we have Bonus Block.
Yeah.
Let's see, Bonus Block IO.
Before we started, I'm lucky. I was lucky enough actually to win 2 NFTs here from you, and thank you very much for the prize, and thank you Bro as well to get me that chance. So I got 2 NFTs. I'm just wondering, is it working now yet, or will it work in future to get some bonuses on that for holding them?
Yeah, so on els.bonusblock.io, if you have connected there and you hold the Elys NFTs in the associated Stargaze account, you are earning a bonus. If you have connected your wallet here and registered, there will be a drop for that soon. So you're gonna get your tokens from that, and then a multiplier is applied based on which type of NFT you hold. So if you have the Legends NFT, you're gonna get a 250% bonus, up to $800, and then for or I think it's so it ends up being, let's see, $400 per Legends NFT, and then for the Horde it's 100% bonus per NFT. So that's $400. 100% bonus on 400. So that's where you get the calculations for 800 and 3,200. So for me, this is my wallet. I'm going to whatever I get dropped here, I'm gonna reward out to like community members. So it'll just be given out to like a lucky participant of a space or something like this. I'll just reward people in it. I have several NFTs in a different wallet that I also reward people. I just give it to people like based on like community participation or something that they do, like for any kind of like help that they could do around the community. It's very helpful to us. So the NFTs for us are like loyalty rewards, some sort of way to kind of just reward community members for being here. The value of the NFTs is really just up to the market, right? We remember we gave those NFTs out for essentially free, so we didn't take any profit. We have no royalties attached to those NFTs. So when you trade them, we don't get anything out of them. We don't want to make money off of those NFTs for ourselves. That's not the goal. But we want you guys to enjoy them. I think the artwork is really, really phenomenal. They did a very nice job with these NFTs, and most importantly, like want you guys to really enjoy and feel good about like owning the NFTs as something that's like special to you, because it's a limited supply, and it's something that like the OGs kind of get to like keep in their collections, kind of like for and then we may include NFT staking or some other utility once we are able to actually move the NFTs onto Elys chain. And then we'll maybe add some functionality there, maybe to give you some sort of like tier. So maybe you could get bumped up to like bronze or silver for being an NFT holder, and then which will allow you like reduce swap fees, or maybe get access to like our AI trading tools or any of the stuff that we're going to charge money for. So we'll probably start, when we integrate like later in the roadmap our AI trading tools or AI features. Those will probably cost money. Those probably cost like $5 to $10 a month. And then, but if you're one of these tiered members, you probably get it for free. So maybe the NFT will unlock access that way.
Hesham, but like it's a future utility. What you have right now? I mean, how to earn bonuses? Like how to earn Elys, or like why I need to stake these NFTs?
So if you're watching what the bonus block quests are, you can stake, provide liquidity, or swap.
Yeah.
We don't tell you what the swap amount is. The swap amount is usually pretty large. So you get credit for those over time. And when you get credit, the drop will come. So we close out the first phase of that. So we're calculating that, and you will receive a drop soon for that. And then we're gonna do it again. So we have we've only dropped a very small amount of our airdrop program, right? We're now, this will be the second time we drop, and then we'll keep dropping over the next year, 2, 3 years. Yeah. So we have a lot. Our airdrop program is continuous.
Okay.
So I'm gonna buy more now.
Okay.
And honestly, the great thing about like being an Elys participant is you don't have to own the token necessarily, right? If you want to just be in a vault and just do Atom, or be in a Ethereum, or being Bitcoin and just be a liquidity provider, vault provider, that's great too. We don't necessarily, the reason for owning the Elys token is really just to capture some of the revenue, right? Because stakers do get 25% of protocol revenue, and with less risk, right? Because they're not providing liquidity, they're not providing vault, they're depositing in the vaults. So it just gives you optionality in terms of your risk profile. So you don't have to own Elys token. But I will say, if you guys saw my post today, we won the Hydro auction, and thank you to anybody here in this group who voted for us in Hydro. We got the highest amount of votes. So in fact, we got so many votes, we only asked for 100,000 Atom. They're giving us 173,000 Atom. So they're giving us almost double what we asked. And the only reason they didn't give us more is because that's the capacity of our vault. So they're not allowed to give us more than what our vault's worth. So they're giving us all the way up to what our vault's worth. So it's going to double our vault as soon as they deploy it, which I think they're going to plan to deploy it next week. So you're going to watch this vault TVL go up to about 1.5 million. And we were actually eligible for 243,000 Atom based on the number of votes we received. So we're very, very thankful to the community for having the trust and faith in us. This Atom comes directly from users who have Atom locked with the Hydro program. The last thing I'll add, I don't know if people are spending a little bit of time on our app, know about our stats page, but this was a big ask from a lot of people because they always want to keep track of what's going on with Elys. So this has been really exciting to watch our TVL grow to over $4 million so far in a very, very difficult environment, right? The market's been very tough for crypto. We launched in December, and it's literally been one of the most difficult, periods of volatility in crypto that I've ever seen. So the fact that we've been launched and we're, about almost 5 months into our journey, and our TVL keeps going up versus other chains whose TVL keeps going down, I'm very, very encouraged with what's going on. So our TVL now is $6 million. Our liquidity is 4.2 million. It's actually gone up a little bit because I don't think the Ethereum number is reflected in here yet. Trading volume for the past month is about 1 million. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This goes only back 7 days. So only for the last 7 days is 1 million. And then since we have launched, we have seen $25 million in trading revenue. It's actually higher than that because this, I think, only goes back to January 1st, December 31st. So probably closer to like 30 million. And then you can see we have over 2 million in USDC, Bitcoin over 500,000. So we're very happy with the asset flow coming in. And even like I said today on the vaults, to see $100,000 of Ethereum come in just a few hours, we just opened it this morning, is really exciting. So I'm very, very happy about this. You're again, $700,000 worth of Atom is coming in next week from Hydro. So we're going to be pushing 5 million. Yep, we'll exceed 5 million by next week if everything goes well. So this is really, I'm really happy with the progress, the inflows, the volumes. We're going to continue to even see like some excitement generated around Pax G, our Pax Gold product, which is really cool because people are bringing that over from Ethereum. It's still small right now, but you're going to start to see a lot more people get interested in gold just because it's very popular right now. So that that liquidity pool is pushing $50,000 right now, which is amazing, given that it's not really one of the DeFi. The DeFi community doesn't really trade gold very often, so it's really cool for us. We're excited about that. So keep an eye on that stats page. You can find us on DeFi Llama also. DeFi Llama updates. It has a lag, so you'll see that their numbers are usually lower than ours, depending on the time of day, because they only update it once a day. And yeah, please keep the feedback coming. We have our chat bot, so let's see. So you can ask, you can ask it a question. How do I stake Elys? So anything you want to do, or if you have feedback in terms of like how something works, try using the chatbot. We work with fetch.ai, which is ASI token. They have created this for us. So it's really cool. They're awesome. I really like working with them. So please give us feedback on that. Let us know if it's giving you incorrect answers or something we could fix. We have our feedback at the bottom. There's a contact button if you have questions or want to provide feedback. And of course, my Telegram is right here. It's open to any of you guys. Just DM me directly, and I'll try to answer you. And if I have not responded to you within 24 hours, please try again, because I'm getting like hundreds of DMs a day. So I gotta. Yeah, so I guess it's not. I don't want to like ignore anybody. Like I want to make sure I respond to everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hesham. It was very interesting, and yeah, and Alpha as well. I like that. I'm gonna buy more NFTs.
Thank you, Dr. Off. Please do get in touch, because it sounds like you've been playing around with a lot of the advanced features. I would love to actually pick your brain about some of the leverage LP stuff and some of the other, especially the perps. If you're interested in being one of the initial testers of perps, we're taking a whitelist right now. We're gonna launch it, do a soft launch with maybe like 50 users, just to give them some chance to test it out, be the first ones to trade on it and let us know what they think. So if you're interested in that, please do DM me. But otherwise, I'd love your feedback. Just message me directly anytime. We'll definitely take feedback very seriously.
I will contact you. Thank you. Thanks, Vlad.
Thank you.
Great job. And you're a great representative of your products.
Thank you very much. That really means a lot to me. Honestly, like the reason I do this is because I'm a user first, right? Like I was always a DeFi user first. I never thought I would be a founder. I never thought I would be, building a blockchain. I always just wanted to be a participant, helping other people to advance this community. And so it really means a lot to me, because I'm never going to stop believing that I'm just a community member like everybody else here. And I don't want to think that I'm any better or any more talented or any more exceptional, because I believe all of you are the people with the answers, and you give me the tools that I need to go tell the team, here's what we need to build. And so it means so much to me that you're here, and it means so much to me that you are supporting Elys and wanting us to get better, so that everybody can kind of build a brighter future for Cosmos. And ultimately, this is what it's all about, right? We want to make sure that we're building a place where people want to be for the next, for their entire lives, building their portfolio and sharing the success of the industry.
Thank you very much, Hesham.
Yeah, great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it, everyone. Again, my DMs are open, and thank you for this opportunity. Let's do it again soon. So hopefully I can accommodate your time zones better, because I know you guys made an adjustment for me, and I really appreciate that. So I will make an adjustment for you next time, I promise. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Cheers.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye. Oh, morning.
You too. and good evening to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.